This is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. We are days away from Valentine's Day, and tonight we're going to connect you with experts in two important areas: relationships and high-quality chocolates. We're going to hold the chocolates for dessert and begin tonight with relationship expert and coach Dave Elliott. Dave, thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
Must be a busy man on Valentine's Day.
It is a busy time of year. There's a little bit more pressure than usual, and that amps things up. But it's a good time, so I do love what I do.
How did you get to be an expert?
Well, that's a great question. Relationships, quite frankly, was an area that I struggled in quite some time ago. I got divorced 17 years ago, and it was very painful. So the truth is, I realized that I probably didn't know as much as I needed to know to be great in that area. So since it was painful, I threw myself into learning from the best of the best for years, and I just listened and learned and paid attention, read everything I could, watched everything I could, and I started to really get it and intuit and take things that I was learning in different places and putting it together into my own content so that I could teach and not only transform my personal relationships, but then create a lot of value and help other people succeed in their relationships.
Who are the other people who come to you for coaching, seminars, whatever you do?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So I work with mostly women, really successful women, a lot of doctors and lawyers and executives in corporate settings. And a lot of times they tend to be divorced or raising kids, and very much they have to be their own protector, provider. I work a lot with understanding masculine and feminine energies.
What are the big questions that you get from the people you work with?
The big question is, why isn't it working? Why don't I have what I want? Why am I struggling? Why do I not have the passion that I want in my relationship? Or why don't I have the relationship I want? And a lot of times it brings up those limiting beliefs and fears and insecurities. And like you to your point about, people think they're better at driving. When you're in relationships, that's the area that's kind of surprising because, like I said, my clients are so effective and good at what they do in other areas of life. They're amazing parents, great at their jobs and what they do. But in the area of relationships, they just tend to struggle because that's where those limiting beliefs and fears, insecurities tend to pop up.
And it's a really difficult thing. I mean, that's got to be part of it. I mean, the pressure's on, not just Valentine's Day, but throughout life that you see these images in culture, in movies, in books of what it's supposed to be. And that you're supposed to go get that, and it's not easily done.
Yeah, pop culture kind of creates a situation where sometimes your expectations don't match your reality, and anytime that happens, you've got pain. So literally, as a coach, what I do is figure out where are you now, where do you want to be, and how do we close the gap and get you to that in the most elegant, effective, and efficient way possible.
Yeah. So that brings up an interesting point. So if you find somebody who appears on paper to be that perfect match,
yes,
it's not necessarily going to work out. And if you find somebody who on paper is going to be a lousy match, sometimes that works.
That's absolutely true. I try to, one of my philosophies is when you're meeting people in the dating process, I just want you to be present with them. And I believe that when you come from a really great place, you know who you are and you know what you're there to do. One of the assignments that I give my clients when they're going out for an initial, like a coffee date or something, is I want to always come from a good place and leave people better than you found them. And what that means specifically is find like 3 to 5 things that you really like about them and reflect them back and say, well, I really appreciate who you are, and wow, that you've had some tough things, and look what you've done, and you've done this, and finding what's great about them, reflecting it back, and then whether it's a love match that lasts forever or it's just, a 30-minute coffee date, both people leave and go forward feeling better for this situation. And I think it's just a nice way to
That's really
interact.
Profound. I mean, you're saying pay attention.
Absolutely.
But you're saying it nicely.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
You told me you're working on a book about some of the mistakes people make with online dating services and how they can do a better job. What's the idea for the book?
Well, it's funny. So I was connected with someone who I met teenage years. Very successful woman. She's a CFO in a company, and she had this idea about she was creating a dating profile, and I didn't know that's what she was doing. And she asked me, "What do you think of this line?" And I said, I made a joke about it. I said, "That's terrible," and nicely, because we were playing about it. And I was actually surprised. I realized that people think that online dating doesn't work, and the truth is it works really effective. Sometimes what doesn't work is your profile. And so I took my background before I got into coaching as an advertising professional and teach people and understand that, you know what, that's an advertisement, and you have to have a call to action. You have to know who your market is. You have to know what you're what's your outcome? What do you want it to look like? So, you know, for people to just pontificate ad nauseum about who they are without telling me, like, you know, what's in it for me? Why should I date you if I'm the target, or if you're the target? Well, it doesn't matter. You know, it's about what do you bring to the table? You know, I look at it, I suggest, you know, if you see 20 pictures of different people in your age range and in your area who are available to date, and you're going to look at it like, okay, which one of those people do I want to get to know better? I need to know who's going to get the click-through. Who do I want to find out more about? And you've got this long to get that person's attention. So are you going to say something that's particularly appropriate, that's going to get their attention and make them curious and want to know more?
We're doing the most unromantic Valentine's Day show ever.
Well, it is, because I do work about strategy sometimes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about relationships or Valentine's Day, give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also tweet a question. Our Twitter address is @MPT News. You have a handy acronym for women looking for men, right? This is Man Magnetics.
Yes, that's something I created a while back.
What's the intent of that?
So basically, it's about, I teach women the 9 things that men are looking for that makes the difference between a keeper and one that you keep away from. And I really just, I'm effective because I say, here's the bottom line, here's what you need to do, here's what you need to focus on. And so I created this acronym that's a lot of information tucked into an easy, memorable device that is actionable and they can actually move on it. So would you like me to go through that, or?
Well, let's pick one or two out of the acronym. Easygoing. Not everybody's easygoing.
Absolutely, that could be a challenging. And here's the thing: one of the number one traits that people are looking for when they are considering, am I interested in this person or not, especially for a man, is can I make her happy? And here's the thing: if you already show up in the relationship happy, and he feels like,
that's
whoa,
a pretty good head start.
That's a great head start. I think I can keep that. So that's a fantastic thing. But if you're meeting someone for the first time and they're complaining and they have a poor attitude and that kind of thing, it's like, this is probably not going to go over.
Yeah. Also on your list was independence.
That is the number one area that ladies especially have a challenge with men. Men have a deep-seated need for independence, or what I would call freedom. And the truth is that's the same thing that caused men to run up the hills at Normandy and willingly die for something greater than them. But that's also the greatness of a man as well. A man would gladly die to protect and provide for his woman, but he needs to know that the challenge is women's number one thing that they need in relationship is to feel safe. And if she's trying to get her hooks in him too fast without providing something better, he's going to want to pull away.
Yeah, boy, pacing is a big issue. Let's talk to Cynthia in Baltimore City. Cynthia, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Cynthia.
I have been dating a person for 6 months. I met him online. It's going extremely well. And I'm just totally confused about what to get him for Valentine's Day. He is, a tie and a shirt won't work. He has most things. He's a professional man.
Okay.
Will this be
what do I get him for Valentine's Day?
Is this your
without
first?
Going overboard.
Is this your first Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Here's the thing, there's also an understanding. I've created a product called the Hug and Kiss Hierarchy that helps you understand love strategies and in essence what needs to happen for someone to feel loved and appreciated. So a lot of times it's kind words, so doing something or unselfish service, those types of things. And so maybe it's a service, maybe it's taking him somewhere, showing your appreciation, or maybe it's quality time together. So it's about understanding that man and what makes him feel really loved. And go in and find something. Maybe it's a service, or maybe it's doing nice things, or just spending quality time, or something romantic.
It just occurred to me I should encourage the caller to stay tuned for our next segment in about a minute. First, let me thank Dave Elliott
My pleasure.
of legendaryloveforlife.com for being with us. Thanks for coming by.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jeff.
And just ahead, sweet treats for your sweetie this Valentine's Day. We'll be right back.